Our first order of business this evening is reports of city officers. I do have a couple of comments to make, and then I know we have a big group here tonight for a nice presentation, so we'll get to that pretty quickly. But first, I do want to thank everyone who came out for the tree lighting ceremony the day after Thanksgiving. As you looked around the community and downtown, especially Market Square, you noticed how beautiful the city of Lake Forest looked. And I want to thank especially the Boy Scout Troop 48. As a lot of you may or may not know, they are the ones who put all the wreaths up and the garland on all of our posts and street lights, and they do that as a volunteer. I had two boys that went through both Troop 48, and I spent probably 10 years doing that myself, so I know what fun it can be. But the real fun is that most people don't realize it's not so much putting it up. That's kind of the easy part when it's nice and warm. It's taking them down after the holidays when there's 2 feet of snow on the ground. So again, thank you very much, Troop 48. You do a great job, and the city always looks beautiful because of all the help you provide us. We have a big group here tonight, and this is kind of the end of our celebrations for our 150th all year. As you all know, we've been celebrating this entire year, kicked off actually a year ago with the tree lighting ceremony, and we've had a lot of fun this year. And I know our two former mayors who formed our committee, both Pushlack and Rummel, have brought everyone else here together tonight, a lot of the founding families and founders of the community. So we're going to get into that. I have a couple of resolutions that I'd like to read, and then we'll let you do your show. The first resolution is for the families themselves, and I'd like to read this into the record. Whereas during the year of 2011, the city of Lake Forest celebrated the 150th anniversary of its founding on February 21st, 1861, and whereas the city of Lake Forest was founded on the principles of excellence in education and faith, and whereas the city of Lake Forest honors its founding fathers and residents who created the community character of Lake Forest and have carried its traditions through a century and a half. And whereas based on these philosophies of excellence, the residents of Lake Forest will perpetuate these ideologies and pass them on to younger generations to ensure that Lake Forest will be a special place for years to come. And whereas this resolution is intended to complement the centennial families recognized by the Lake Forest Lake Bluff Historical Society by paying tribute to the families who have made significant contributions to Lake Forest over the past 2 or more generations, and or who serve as role models for future generations of Lake Foresters. Therefore, be it resolved that the city of Lake Forest gratefully acknowledges the heritage families of Lake Forest listed below. And I'm going to read this long list. We have the Banks family, Chandler family, Clark family, Dick family, Dixon family, Farwell family, the Falk, Rafferty, Athenson family, got a whole group there. The Foster Sterling family, the Gorder family, the Grumhouse family, Hunter family, Luby family, the McBride Green family, the Saran family, the H. Brooks Smith family, Stringer family, the Stewart Hart family, Swarthout family, and the Wad family. And I can probably guess there's probably a long list more here, but certainly these are significant families who have contributed to our community over many generations. I'll ask for a...
I move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That motion passes. Now I'd like to read the second resolution this evening as well. This is, whereas during the year of 2011, the city of Lake Forest celebrated the 150th anniversary of its founding on February 21st, 1861, and whereas the city of Lake Forest, whose volunteer community and creative thinkers are the lifeblood of the community, working hard daily in support of the city's natural beauty, philosophies of excellence, our local institutions and cultural arts, they step forward to form the 150th Anniversary Committee. And whereas former mayors Michael Rummel and John Preshlack volunteered to lead the noble efforts of this committee, whereas this committee was charged with raising the funds necessary to run and to operate a year-long itinerary of events and activities to commemorate the 150th anniversary, and whereas the multitude of these events brought the community together on all topics of interest on behalf of and for the betterment of the city of Lake Forest, therefore, be it resolved that the city of Lake Forest gratefully acknowledges the accomplishments of the 150th Anniversary Committee and thanks them for their energy and spirit, which constituted the great success of this celebration. Again, thank you personally, both former mayors, Preschlack and Rummel, for all your hard work. I know you put a lot of time and effort into it, and it was certainly all done also with private contributions, which I know is a lot of work in itself to bring forth, but you did a fantastic job, so thank you both. And I know now you both have your own report to bring forth, so
I
Michael,
move to adopt the resolution.
all in favor?
Aye. Well, thank you very much. When I started this endeavor, we were talking about the 150th anniversary, and I thought about 150 years, and what does that mean to the history of our city? Well, first of all, I think that's how long we've been working on this event. It feels like 150 years, but you have to reflect back on what's happened. And not many communities can say that what's happened within their community has happened within ours. The Civil War, World War I, World War II, and a man landing on the moon. What does Lake Forest have to do with all of that? Well, first of all, the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln came to Lake Forest and was nominated by actually a Lake County resident to become president of the United States. He also came here to recruit some of his officers. In World War I and II, we have numerous veterans fighting from Lake Forest, and we have a national hero living right here within our midst who almost landed on the moon and didn't quite make it there, but had an amazing trip to it. So our small community, 23,000 people today, has played a major part in the history of the United States. And when you reflect on that, this was a lot to try to put into one event. So we have a committee, and to them I wish to say thank you. Jack will speak about the family histories in a minute. My job is to talk about the 150th and about the people who made that happen. First of all, the City Council and the Mayor. Thank you for your support. Thank you for helping us along the way. Thank you for your contribution towards this. But you were the kind of the guiding light to us as to where to go. When we planned to blow up the city early on, you told us that wasn't a good idea. But we did come up with a number of different ideas. And thank you for your guidance, help, and your support. To the donors who gave to the campaign, as Jim has mentioned, this was all done by private donations. Tommy Hunter started us off and got us rolling, and we raised enough money to not only do this, but to plant the trees, and hopefully we're going to have a little bit left at the end. So when the train station is finally finished, we're going to plant the trees back at the train station, so everybody will have something to see from this 150th. The committee came up with the 150th numbers, which everybody has seen all year. I think we have them sold to another town for their 50th, and then the one goes to Jim's house. And so the list of events go on, the timeline that was created by the Historical Society, the tree planting that's going on through town. There's 151 commemorative trees, the sunrise service, and then finally the concert that we had and the all-city party that we had over Labor Day weekend. There were a number of groups that participated in this. Open Lands, the Symphony, the City Sticker, and one of the things we had was an overture made to Lake Forest. So it's my honor to present this to you, Jim.
That's right. Do I have to sing it, or am I? I don't think you want to hear that. Okay, good. Thank you. That's fantastic.
But the Lake Forest Symphony had a 150th overture written to it, and it was played in March at the Symphony. So all the constituent groups that were involved with the city got into this and really made it a great event. But the last group I wish to thank is the staff, and that is everybody who worked on this event. The staff worked tirelessly to help make this event happen. If you could have been out there the day before when we were setting up the all-city party, our staff people were out there just working like dogs to get everything set up right for us. So to the staff, we can't say enough to thank you for it. And then finally, my special thanks goes to Debbie, who could not be here tonight. Debbie Saran was the engine that made this thing happen. She got the all-city party together. So all I really have to say to the countless volunteers, the committee, the donors, is humbly I have to say thank you for making this an event a great event. Thank you. And And I don't know how we're going to do this, but we have a small video that we're going to show you quickly about the 150th event. Do we know how to make this happen? Okay. Sure. And after this, Jack will get up and talk about the Centennial families.
Mayor Preschlack and myself, we'd like to welcome you to the 150th birthday party of Lake Forest. It's really been a lot of fun, starting with the tree lighting ceremony back last year, through everything and tonight. And wasn't Ronnie Baker a great act? We're going to have Dave Mason, and then we're going to have a laser light show for you at the end of this, and it looks like we're finally clearing up a little bit.
Before we get on with Dave Mason, I just want to say a few more thanks, reiterate a little bit of what Mike Rummel just had to say. I do want to thank Debbie Saran again and the Heritage Festival Committee. They worked for 1 year on this. There were hundreds of individuals that spent a lot of time on all these programs during the year. They did a fantastic job. Thanks again, Debbie, and everyone who contributed.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, city staff, fellow Lake Foresters. Mr. Mayor, I've spent many happy hours in this room, but never saw a turnout like this, even under the most controversial subjects before the council. And I'd like to thank everyone for showing here tonight. And there's so many great friends in the room, and it's a privilege for me to be here with you. It was a privilege to serve on the committee with Michael Rummel and to make this a truly memorable community-wide celebration of our 150th. And we were supported superbly by the city staff, most notably Susan Banks. We were supported by Janice Hawk and the Historic Society, and also by many donors who made this a privately funded event and minimized any cost to the taxpayers. But I'm here tonight really to talk about the resolution that you passed earlier, and I'd like to talk specifically as to how it came about and why it is so significant. The inspiration for this resolution stems from the sermon of the Reverend Thomas Dickelman, who is chaplain to Lake Forest College, when he delivered his sermon at the sunrise service on the beach at Lake Forest Day in August. In that sermon, Reverend Dickelman said, and I quote, "If we only focus on the past without an eye toward the future, this will be a hollow celebration. For what comes with the privilege of calling this special place home is the responsibility of ensuring it will be here for generations to come." And then he said, "The preservation of Lake Forest as it is not enough. We need to preserve the spirit that made Lake Forest what it is." End of quote. Aside from its physical beauty, we all know that what makes Lake Forest special is its tradition of volunteerism and citizen support, as represented by you gentlemen and ladies at the podium. And not only at city governance level, but the people that brought you here, the city caucus system, which is based on volunteerism, and outstanding community organizations such as the Historic Society, Lake Forest Open Lands, the American Legion Post, our unsung heroes, Lake Forest Preservation Foundation, Croyer, Gorton Center, Elowa, to name but a few. Now, to inspire future generations, I see no better way of describing the spirit of what made Lake Forest what it is than to honor those families present here tonight and incorporated in your resolution who have given so much to this community and who represent role models for the future. I wish I could comment on each one of them, but time won't permit. And besides, most of you know who they are and are familiar with them. Not as evident, perhaps, are the role models that we included in the list to be honored. First and foremost among them, and a surprise to her, is Susan Banks, who was a volunteer at Gorton Center and who's really been glued to hold so many of these activities together. In addition to Susan, some of the younger people honored in that resolution, such as Eileen Luby, Debbie Saran, and David Grumhouse. It's no exaggeration to say that the contributions of these families and individuals have made Lake Forest what it is today. Mr. Mayor, I am confident that with the resolution you and the council pass tonight, you will keep the spirit that made this community what it is alive for many years to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jack. And Jack, since I won't be here for the next 150th, I do want to give you these two resolutions, though, before you.
We have to go across the border again.
Mount Rushmore.
Mr. Mayor, may I also, for the benefit of everybody that's here this evening, make the announcement that they are all invited to go over to Southgate Restaurant, where there are some refreshments that they can carry on the celebration, even though the city council members have to stay here and do a little more work.
I was told further that there was, Jack and Mike were having dinner for everyone here. Oh. The city was invited, and please show up at Southgate.
Two fewer trees.
Again, thank you, former mayors Prushlat and Rummel, for all your hard work over the year. It was a fantastic year, a wonderful celebration, and thank you to all the families that have made Lake Forest so special. And I know that, we're seeing just a handful of them here tonight that have made such a great impact on the community. And I know that over the next 150 years, there'll be many, many more that will follow in your footsteps and continue to make this community, obviously, one of the best in the United States. And we thank you for all you've done for us and you continue to do for us.
Thank you. So everybody is dismissed to go have cake and coffee at Southgate.
No.
Finish it up, I guess. Right there.
It's nice. I see Rob Stewart walking around the neighborhood by the farm all the time. He's 90. I wanted to. Oh, yeah. So it's incredible.
John and I were a little disappointed that there weren't any pictures of the two of us hanging up the end of the fire engine.
With the crazy man.
I got more complaints from people.